Glenwood Springs High School?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you presenting on the Colorado River and its flow, the effects of trans-basin diversions?
No, I'll actually be talking about a law that leads to wasteful water use. Yeah, there's a mix-up.
I'm real good at this. Okay. All right. Why don't you introduce yourself and your presentation?
All right, so my name is Uren, Ernesto. He's God knows where at this point. So right now I wanted to take the time to talk about a law that leads to wasteful water use. And so under the prior appropriation doctrine there, part of that is the use it or lose it law. Now what that basically means is if you don't use your water right to the full extent, you're at risk of losing it. And I don't believe that people should be penalized with their water rights for conservation of water. So the kind of gray area of it is you lose it if you don't maintain a beneficial use. An example of this where the gray area kind of comes in would be there's different residential neighborhoods that used to be ranches, and when they bought the land, that the water rights came with it. So now beneficial use for them would be keeping the lawns green. And when we're going through these extreme droughts, and I see these people where they're not even living in their summer home for 3 or 4 months out of the year, yet their lawn looks like a golf course, I think it's pretty wasteful. So pro and cons of the law is right now, pro is it makes so people who have these water rights, they don't just sit on them and not use them. It kind of forces the people to actually use what they bought. The con of it is it kind of creates this climate of fear that people are always at risk of losing what is theirs. And so this can be seen all over the Roaring Fork Valley. I mean, all we have to do is look off different directions from the highway. It can be seen with different residential neighborhoods. It can be seen with different local farms. And it just gets me because they can use up to 2 to 5 times necessary water that is actually required to properly irrigate their their property. And so I thought that give an example. So Dick Wolf, he's Colorado's state water engineer, and he lined it out pretty good. So Farmer Ted here, quite a nice little fellow there, got his corn going on. So he has the water rights to 150 CFS. Now he really only needs about 100 of that to properly water his corn. About 60 of that goes towards the corn, the other returns to the river through groundwater. Now if he were to go and sell that, he couldn't sell the 40 CFS that returns back to the river, but he could sell the 60. Now the kicker is he's not going to use just 100. He's always going to use that 150 CFS because water rights, if you own an old water right, it's kind of like having a fair share of gold. I mean, water right, it's a lot of money, and if you're able to hold on to that, it's, like I said, it's kind of having your own little chunk of gold in the community. And so when people are always at risk of losing these rights if they're not using them for beneficial uses, I mean, they're going to be wasting a lot of water just because they don't want to lose essentially a lot of money. So I think it's important because by 2050, climate change could cause the Colorado River to decline by about 18%. And with 70% of the Earth's fresh water being used towards agriculture, I thought it was interesting because the United States, we always go to different conferences around the world, and we always try to be the leader in change and combating climate change, and I just thought it was kind of ironic that we're stepping forward and trying to be a leader for this. Yet here we can see it in our own valley that a lot of water is being wasted because people are at fear. I mean, it's kind of hard to set an example when you're not following it. So proposed change is pretty simple, but I think it'd be effective is that for those people who own those older water rights, that if they only use what is necessary, the remaining water right, they wouldn't have to worry about losing it, but instead they could donate it to a junior water right holder, or they could just let it keep flowing. So there are my sources, and are there any questions for me today? No. Thank you. All right. Oh, you got a question?
What did you use as your source of information about water law?
Water law, so I mean, it's in the different source, but so for water law, it was a prior appropriation doctrine, and I actually have friends that work in different water law offices, so I kind of had a nice inside connection there. Any other questions?
How do you think that your proposed change? How do you actually see that going in effect? Do you think it would be easy to implement, or do you think that it would take a lot of work from? What do you see about how that would work?
It takes some time. There's for water laws. I mean, it's pretty hard to change water laws. These really set the tone for centuries, and I think that it definitely takes some time. But they always talk about how our vote matters, and I think if we were able to propose different amendments to these water rights, we get the word out there and we vote on them. I mean, our vote matters, and all we gotta do is go out there and get stuff done. Any other questions?
Just, I guess a quick comment. You've touched on a topic that is incredibly timely, and congratulations on sort of working your way through the complexity of it too, and coming up with an idea. But yes, it's going to be tough to sort of take that ship and turn it around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so thanks for that.